guys, welcome back to my channel. You are wonky. Welcome back to another video. Welcome if you are new. I am basically undone. It's the day we all know and love. I love filming these videos. There is something so exciting about it. I just can't wait. To give you a little update on where we're at with the June TBR, I currently have 2 books left to read, but I imagine by the time I actually go to edit and upload this, I will have finished them all. So I'll put a little summary on the screen of how we are doing with the June TBR, but I'm sure it will be completely read and we'll be ready for July. Picking out the July books, I have a couple of things I am going to read regardless, and I'm not going to pick in my TBR, but they will be on my TBR. The first one is the book club look for work. So for work we're reading Verity by Colleen Hoover? That's her surname, right? It's Verity. It's coming out as a film sometime this year, so we're reading it at work. So that one will be on my TBR. I think we are discussing it at the end of the month. And then I have The Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. Is that how you say it? It's the second book in the... what's the first one called? The Crimson Moth duology. So it's the second one in that series. Finishes off the whole thing and I have it on hold at the library. The other thing I have hold at the library is Forged by Malice by by Elizabeth Helen, which is the third book after Bonded by Thorns by the same author. And then I have 2 more library books up here that I have out at the moment. One is Think Again by Jacqueline Wilson, and one is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. So these are the books I'll be reading regardless because I have them on hold / they're unrelated to this video. But let's go pick 8 more books that we are going to read in the month of July. Got my little TBR jar. It's getting a little bit empty. I feel like this might be one of the last months we film before I have to refill it back up again, but there's still loads of prompts in here. So shall we pick prompt number 1? A book with a place in the title. I don't think we do. I might be like missing one, but I can't find one. So I'm gonna claim that one as a dud and we're gonna start again. Right, you better be a prompt that I can actually use. Otherwise I'm gonna kick off. A book you've been avoiding. Why do this to me? Why put me through this? What have I been avoiding? Right, I'm gonna pick these 2 books. I'm not particularly avoiding them because I think they're not very good. I'm avoiding them just because I've heard nothing about them and I just feel like I might have heard nothing about them because they're not very good. But I also, that's slightly unfair conception to have going into a book. So I'm going to pick them as this prompt to give them a go. We have The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson that I picked up in a secondhand bookshop near where I live. This seems to be about a character called Wren who is being chased through a forest because of like some creepy game where someone gets hunted every year in some kind of like weird hunt. I get the impression Wren probably ends up being actually quite important, but that is the gist of this book. And then we have Dark Matter by Rick Gikorsky, which I picked up in a sale in Waterstones, and this just seems to be about someone who's basically going through a tragic death in the family, I think. Literally no one ever talks about either of these 2 books. I think this one has like 100 ratings on Goodreads or something really silly, so they are very unknown books. And I feel like this is quite dark and I think this might be a little bit better for this month. So I'm going to pick The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson, which is just a book I would never have gravitated towards. I don't really know why I bought it, but I'm going to read it this month and this is the first book on the monthly TBR. Book number 2. Going to pick this little teeny tiny pink prompt. Ebook. So, as I said, I have those 2 ebooks currently on hold. Do I pick one of those 2 ebooks or do I pick something that's on my reading list? So I'm gonna screen share my list. So my list currently is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, Penance by Eliza Clark, Cold Hearted by Julie Hall or Leah Stone, Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan, A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan, A Wren in the Holly Library by Key A. Lind, Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare, My Boyfriend is a Vampire by Eva Knight, The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, The North Wind by Alexandra Warwick, House of Marion by J.L., Collide by Bal Cabra, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, or Burn by Patrick Ness. I do think I might actually just pick one that's already on my reserve list, because otherwise I'm starting like a whole new series and I'm already in the middle of so many series. So I'm going to pick Forged by Malice by Elizabeth Helen as my ebook for this month's TBR, because I don't want to start a new series. As the next prompt, we have a book with a map, which is basically any fantasy book. So, what fantasy series am I in the middle of that I would want to finish? Does this one have a map? Oh my god, these books don't have maps. I say that, and then the last two fantasy books I've picked up don't have maps. So this one has a map. This is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, which is in the same universe as the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology. I'm excited to read this. I don't really know what it's about other than it seems to be following Zoya and Nina and maybe Nikolai. I don't know, it's following some characters from the previous books. I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to read where the story goes next. And where have I put the prompt? Behind me. And what is next in this little world. And I kind of want to read it while I still remember who all the characters are, because that would be nice. Book number 4. The book that's been on your shelf for the longest. So I'm going to go on my books on here and go in my want to read list. Date added. Interesting. I would not have put that as the book that's been on my list for the longest. This has been on my list since the 8th of August 2024 and it's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This will be the last Emily Henry book that I need to read to complete all the Emily Henry books that I currently own. I do need to go get some more, like I haven't read Conversation with Friends, I haven't read the new one, but of all the books I own, this is the last one I need to read. And I do feel like it's a good month for Emily Henry. So this, on the back of the book, says, Nora is a cutthroat literary agent at the top of her game. Her whole life is books. Charlie is an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers, and he's Nora's work nemesis. Nora has been through enough breakups to know she's the one men date before finding their happily ever after. To prevent another dating dud, Nora's sister persuades her to swap her city desk for a month's holiday in the Sunshine Falls. It's a small town straight out of a romance novel, but instead of meeting a sexy lumberjack, handsome doctors or cute bartenders, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie. Okay, that's so cute and perfect for like a summer read, because currently your girl's got a lot of like moody fantasies, so to have a nice little like cutesy little romance for July is perfect, and my phone is popping off. Book number 5. A book published this year. Okay, so I'm going to go into Goodreads because I don't remember when things are published. Publication year. Okay, so we have a few different options. We have The Baby Dragon Café, which is just like a really cutesy little book about a girl who owns a cafe for baby dragons. And that's it. Because everything else published in 2025 is a last book in a series that I haven't started yet. So this is my option, and my only option as a book published in this year. It just sounds so cutesy. Like I said, it's about a girl called Tahereh, or Sapphira, I don't know how you pronounce her name, who owns a cafe for customers with pet baby dragons, but they keep setting fire to the cafe. And then she ends up working with Aiden, who is a gardener, and I think he ends up training the dragons. I don't know, but it sounds cutesy. I'm very excited. And this is my book published this year. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So book number 6. Sorry, I've got a friend who is coming to stay this weekend who has, I don't think, ever caught a train out to where I live. And he's like, can you do contactless? And I'm like, nah mate, that's London only, and I don't live in London, so no, you have to buy a real ticket. Oh, these London people when they leave, so cute. Anyway, book number 6. A book by a favourite author. Love this prompt. We can continue on with the darker... Why am I facing my back to you? We can continue on with the Darker Shade of Magic series, which is by V.E. Schwab, who is one of my favourite authors. So this is A Gathering of Shadows. Or we can read from Karen M. McManus, who is the author of One of Us is Lying, and read You'll Be the Death of Me, which is a YA thriller. So you've got YA thriller or adult fantasy. I kind of want to read this more because I'm kind of in the middle of this series and I want this series to keep going, but this gives more variety. I think this. We've got a very fantasy heavy TBR this month, but that's fine because you girls got to try get through these books somehow, and most of them are fantasy. So book number 7. Continue a trilogy. What trilogies have I started? Have I even started any trilogies? Because ironically I just picked my continuing a trilogy book. So I'm going to consult my series tracker. So what trilogies am I in the middle of? I'm in the middle of none, apart from the one that I just picked for the previous prompt. So do I just take it as continuous series you're in the middle of? Or I'm going to take it as continuous series I'm in the middle of, but a series where I only own 3 of the books. I feel like that is really pushing the prompt to its absolute limit, but I'm going to read These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi. I think this is going to be like a 5 or 6 book series. I believe there are 4 books out, but I only own 3 of them because the 4th book only came out recently. This is a YA fantasy, I think arguably dystopian. I actually don't remember anything that happened in the first book. I'm going to have to read a recap before I read this book, but I think this is the book I'm going to pick for this prompt, and this is the book we're going to go with. It's not really a trilogy, nor do I really remember what the series is about so far. There's also a printing error on this book, like what on earth is going on? But we're going to read it and see how it goes. This is a weird TBR. I feel like after some really like strong TBRs, this month's TBR is weird. But we're going to keep going and we're going to pick the 8th and final prompt. This better be a good one. This better be the best damn prompt ever. A book that ends in an odd number of pages, which is sort of a free pick within reason. This one ends in 4 for 4 pages. Okay, I have 2 options, both of which are continuing series that I have started. One is Twisted Games by Anne Huang, and one is The Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. Both are ending with odd Is it odd? Did I read the prompt right? Odd number of pages. I've picked even number of pages. That's super embarrassing. Okay. She's back in the game, guys. She is back in the game. This book has, I've already forgotten the page number, but it was odd, 323 pages. So we are actually going to put this book back on the TBR. This is You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen McManus. The little like thing that it says on the front of the book is 3 friends with secrets to hide, 1 shocking murder, will the truth ever come out? This is fun. So this is the book that we are going to read as the 8th and final book in my July TBR. Let me just check on my friend's status. I've now picked my TBR. As I said, it's a bit random, but we are going to go with the flow and we are going to chat through and summarise the 8 books that I have picked for July. From the beginning, why am I singing that? Book number 1 for a book you've been avoiding is The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson. Book number 2 for an ebook is Forged by Malice by Elizabeth Helen. A book with a map is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. A book that's been on your shelf for the longest is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. A book published this year is The Baby Dragon Café by A.T. Qureshi. A book by your favourite author, or my favourite author, is A Gathering of Shadows by B.E. Schwab. A book continuing a trilogy, which I've used some interesting creative license for, is These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi. And last but by no means least, a book that ends in an odd number of pages is You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus. These are the 7th and then 8th in the ebook books I've picked for my July TBR. It was fun. It was different. This was like probably not the best TBR, but I'm going to read it regardless because I love a little list and I love working through my little list. But there are some good books in here. I'm really excited to continue my V.E. Schwab trilogy. I think You'll Be the Death of Me will be fun, Book Lovers will be fun, The Baby Dragon Cafe will be fun. But yeah, I've tried not to start too many series this month because I started a lot over May and June. But yeah, these are my books. These are the ones that I'll be reading over the next month. And I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Click subscribe to potentially see me read some of these books. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!